Hey everybody, it's Josh with Talk About Trek, and we are back again for another Warp Tuesday video. It's been a pretty lumpy past couple of days here, past 10 days, I guess, but we're going to get back on the horse, put my best foot forward, and get back to doing what I like to do, which is talking about Trek, which is why we're here today. But first, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, I did want to introduce the other newest member of the Talk About Trek family here. This is Creamsicle. Her sister Seven is inside somewhere, but everybody insisted that Cream get her time in the limelight as well. So that was for you, girl. There you go. So anyway, today's Warp Tuesday video will be a little bit different than the typical ones in the past because there's not a lot of news roundup to talk about at this time, really. But what I did manage to do was finish Strange New Worlds Asylum by Una McCormick. So we can talk about this. We can talk about a few other things. And I decided, since it took me, nearly 3 weeks to finish this book. No. Cats. Excuse me. It took me nearly 3 weeks to finish this book with a lengthy break in the middle. So I'm not going to give it its own special video. I'm just going to throw it in here with this Warp Tuesday video. We'll talk about it like normal, just not as in-depth, and then we'll just talk about a few other things as well. And she's gone. Balls flying around everywhere. So, I think what we'll do actually to start is talk about this. Mr. Spock. So, Master Replicas is producing a line of Star Trek toys. Yay, right? I mean, more Star Trek toys is good. Let's see, look here. The details are on this side. 4.5 inches, so they're going to be, equal to the Playmates figures. But they have released the first two pre-orders that are available. So you can pre-order your Mr. Spock here, your Strange New Worlds Spock. Let's see if we can get a little bit bigger there. There we go. And they say, look, final design subject to approval, so maybe this won't be how it's going to work out in the end, but it is available now for pre-order. $25.99. But unfortunately, I just think that's how it's going to go for toys anymore, right? And the bad news is that this pre-order is not shipping until the third quarter of 2025. But, it gives you something to look forward to down the road. So in addition to the pre-order for Spock here, they did release another one as well. That is the Picard. No, this is the Picard, of course, from Picard. So, what am I doing with this one? Here we go. Okay. Here it is. So let's see if we can make that one a little bit bigger. And you can kind of see the, it's got like a texture on the jacket there. So, yep, it looks pretty good. And again, I'm always happy for more Star Trek toys. So I do have both of these pre-ordered. And you can see them here first as soon as they're released. And, decide if you'd like to get them yourself. I am honestly more looking forward to seeing the Lower Decks figures. That is my big thing out of this line. Apparently they are going to do 8 from Picard, 8 from Lower Decks, and 8 from Strange New Worlds. Which, excuse me, if they do that, that's going to be incredible. But, I mean, just getting the 4 main Lower Deckers would be very cool. So coming soon, we'll be talking about more Star Trek toys. And while we got him up here, this brings up the point. Another Picard toy. And I've brought this up many times, and I seriously think that there's not another character who has been produced in more different toy form than Captain Picard. And I don't even know what would come close, to be honest with you. So, think about that one. Oh, I gotta wet my whistle. Hang on. I am due to dust and clean the whole Picard shelf, and I think when we do that, we're going to do another recount. We're going to look at them all again and just go back through and say exactly how many Picards are there. Is there anyone that even comes close? I think that would be a fun video. Even though I've done it before, it would be fun to do again. So, coming soon, the Picard retrospective, part 2 or whatever. Anyway, oh no, I moved my thing here. What have I done? What in the world have I done? Perfect, we fixed it. All right, anyway, we are back for Warp Tuesday. Again, after a lengthy break, but we wanted to come back because, it was time to move forward, and it feels good to do that and to be back. So, but let's talk about this book. So this book, which is Star Trek Strange New Worlds Asylum, written by New York Times best-selling author Una McCormick. I guess let's just go right to the back. All right. Oh, okay, Christopher Pike said. Let's get this ship landed. Here's how we handled re-entry. 2 minutes later, Una Riley sat up, stared at Pike, and then reached for her pad and began searching for the piece of information she knew was in there somewhere. 5 minutes after that, the lecture ended to rapturous applause. Pike, to his credit, looked rather endearingly relieved. Chin Riley turned around to speak to Teresa Mullins. He made a mistake, Chin Riley said. She grabbed her pad and bag and stood up. I'm going to tell him. Mullins followed suit. You're what? I'm going to tell him he made a mistake. Let me get this straight. You're going to go up to Christopher Pike, guest lecturer and darling of the Academy, and tell him he didn't follow regs? Yes, said Chin Riley. Can I come? Sure. You never know, said Mullins. You might need a witness. That's a good back cover. That gives away, nothing. That just gives you a short scene to give you an idea of what you're getting into here with that. So, that was good. Now, on the inside of the dust jacket, of course, you do get the kind of the bigger summary here. When Cadet Una Chin Riley and Ensign Christopher Pike meet at Starfleet Academy after one of his lectures, they immediately become friends. Una is a poster girl of her. That's kind of funny. A poster girl of her class. If you've seen the Lower Decks episode, that's funny. A stellar student, and Pike is determined to become a Starfleet captain with his own ship one day, hypothetically assembling his dream crew. As their friendship develops, Pike suspects Una is involved with the Yuksana, a Chionian cultural minority who are seeking asylum in Federation space, leading to more questions than answers. 25 years later, Una and Pike are working together on the Enterprise to settle a Chionian trade agreement when a terrorist attack is made on the chief negotiator by a pro-Yuksana saboteur. When the suspect is taken into custody, Una's past associations resurface and the focus is shifted onto her, putting a secret she's been harboring at risk of imploding. Bum, bum, bum. That's actually a pretty good summary there, too. It kind of gives you a bit of what's going on, but it doesn't actually spoil the story. So, okay, so first off, I just want to point out, I do like how pretty this book is. The colors are good. But then look what happened. Oh, wouldn't you know, I let it sit, and I had a leak in the roof, and where did it leak? Boop, 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 right onto the book, of course. But, the book will be fine. We'll put it back onto the shelf. It'll squeeze tightly in there, and it'll be great. So, all right. So, let me get my dates right. All right. Yes, we are looking at. So. I'm gonna keep saying so. This is a book that splits between two time periods, which is fun. So you have the Starfleet Academy period, which is 2232. Pike, as an ensign, is returning to the Academy after something happened and is going to kind of take some time to do some lectures there at the Academy. And then one of the rising stars of the Academy, of course, is Una Chin Riley, and she is, she's very much by the books, by the regs, and this is her story. Look, the picture on the cover. Oh, wait a second. We usually do this. Boom. the picture on the cover, right? It's got Pike first and foremost, but this is not his book. This is definitely number one's book because the story revolves around her in the past, and in the present mostly too. But the thing about this one is, I guess the interesting thing for me was getting a look back into like the formation of their friendship, which was pretty cool. So they the way they met, the way like she interacted with him, and like they immediately hit it off, and not in like a way where like they wanted to be with each other, but they wanted to be friends. And then I think like they immediately knew she was like, I want him to be my captain, and like he knew she's my number one, right? And I think that was done really well. And the whole story revolves around the Chionians, right? So in the early story, the 2232, the um, cadet Chin Riley is introduced to this young family of Chionians, and this was fun too because I just showed you the cat. Chionians are like a cat-like race. They are described as kind of looking like servals, so it was fun to picture these Chionians looking like my cats as well. So I did that. They kind of look like big walking, talking versions of my cats, and it's always fun when you have a cat-like race. I want to see like when are we going to get this live action? Like, come on, guys. It's been long enough. We can get a live action cat like race, on a show. You know. Anyway, so that's the past one, all right, and the Chionians are basically refugees from their world, and they're applying for asylum on Earth, right? So now, fast forward to 2260, your typical, Strange New Worlds timeline where we're at, and they are involved in basically diplomatic negotiations now with the Chionian government. So the Chionian government head, Echat Linchar, meets up with the Enterprise on Starbase 1, 2, 3, or 4, or some such number, I forget. But the point is, they meet up to discuss like the Chionians' possible entry into discussions. I think they've been kind of a isolationist more right now. Now with her, she has her two aides, Texo and Marshat, right? And they're each kind of from like a different branch of the culture, right? They're the Yuksana, which are the kind of like the more put upon ones, and they're trying to squash their way of life, and that's why these people in the past were fleeing. But right now, it's developed even worse problem where there's more open rebellions on the planet. Uh, you know, slogans, flags, posters, and things going up. But they're trying to kind of keep that secret from the Federation, kind of saying like that's their own internal business, right? So the story shifts back and forth between, number one going to the academy, and really I think that's kind of where like the main meat of the story is, right? It's nice to see that she kind of comes to grip with her. She takes on too much, and then she realizes that she has to take a step back. She is finding it hard to make thoughts. No, she is. I know what I'm saying. I know where I'm going with this. All right. She's very like perfectionist, right? So she wants to be able to do everything and be the number one student and be the lead in the Gilbert and Sullivan show that they're putting on and do everything perfectly right. She bites off more than she can chew, and she has to kind of take a step back. And then there's also this kind of little bit about her, her past and not wanting to be exposed. In the 2260 story, of course, this is after she has already won her case and she's allowed to serve in Starfleet. So, that, and in this part of the story, really what they're kind of more dealing with is it's a little bit of like kind of a like a whodunit. You know, they're just trying to track down these little bits and pieces of like who's the one that's behind this, right? Because there's now the movement that started on the planet is kind of spread to the Enterprise and the Starbase. So these flags are showing up, slogans, songs, pro Yuxana things are showing up. A bomb, excuse me, oh, my throat is dying. A bomb is planted, um, but there's no real danger. There's no real conflict. It's all more like kind of internal. It's dialogue. You don't feel that anyone's really in any trouble. A couple of scat scratches, scat scratches, cat scratches here and there. But other than that, the Enterprise crew and all of the Starfleet and Starbase, they keep things well in hand, right? Um, in the end, it's kind of revealed that it wasn't who you thought it was. I'm not even going to spoil it for you. It wasn't who you thought it was. It was the one that was sending the messages. But again, that's more just like, I don't know. It's just again for me, the early Pike and Una stuff was awesome, and there was this whole part too. They do feature Palia in this as well, and this is her time, and she's an instructor at Starfleet. And there's kind of this neat little bit about how they come up with the Kobayashi Maru, and like it's like invented basically in this book. So that was a cool little bit. The cat people were cool. There was a Vulcan diplomat who was assigned to it as well, named Tamal, and I enjoyed her character as well. So, just all in all, it's a good, fun book. Again, not high danger, high excitement. Sometimes those cats will knock down my toys back there. I have a feeling someone's causing trouble now. Anyway, um, again, not high action, but more just fun. It was a fun book, and a fun shift back and forth, and a good chance to give number one her own kind of lead in a book. So that's literally all I can say about that book. Okay, we're going to wrap it up and stick it back up on the shelf. And the question we have to figure out now is what is next? What is next? Previously, I was getting into the Captain's Table books, right? But I don't think that I want to pick up a series again at this point. I think that what I want to do is just read a singular story, something small. So I'm thinking it's going to be something from like the early TOS days. So if anyone has a recommendation, put that down in the comments below. How you do. Oh wait, we can get this off of here now. Back to regular Warp Tuesday talk, right, guys? So yeah, so I think we're gonna do some TOS, some early TOS. We'll look up there, get some options, look at some suggestions if any pop up, and we'll go from there. What's coming up in the future? Very exciting things coming up in a week or so. It will be my birthday, and that will mean that I will probably take a trip up to Federation headquarters in Sandusky, Ohio. Have a nice meal with the family, walk around the mall, buy some Star Trek stuff, and hopefully get a sneak peek into the Neutral Zone Studios, which are coming, I believe, May. Yes, May. So, if you don't know, the Sandusky Mall in Sandusky, Ohio, has the Federation headquarters, which is like the largest. I don't know. It's just the most awesome place you could go to if you like Star Trek things, and it's also a charitable foundation, which is great. Now, across the hall from this place, they're going to be putting in the Neutral Zone Studios, which is a full, basically like the original series Enterprise. You got the bridge, you've got, I think, medical, you've got engineering, and much, much more. So the last time I was there and I kind of peeked in through the glass, I could see that they were doing things there was sets, there was pieces of wood. So I want to see more, and I'm excited to do that. And also, when my wife asked me what I wanted for my birthday, I said, um, look over there on that wall, and you can see that I'm missing that toy and that toy and that toy. So hopefully, we'll have some new Star Trek toys to show, which might be the. Let me see if I can show you guys here. Okay, look, right there. See that? Those three pieces of paper right there? I believe they are the final three pieces of the puzzle, and then I'll have like the whole first wave of the TNG Playmates toys in beautiful, pristine condition on the wall in front of me here. So that's kind of like one of my big goals. You know, I can't do them all because that's just a matter of space. But to get that would be awesome. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, we have lots of fun things to look forward to here in the future. Lots of books to read, and we'll be back real soon to keep on talking about more Star Trek stuff as we do here on the channel because it makes me happy to do that, and that's why I do this. So, I want to thank anyone that is watching and enjoys listening to me babble on about Star Trek, and I appreciate you guys. I do. As always, live long and prosper, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Good night.